It was uh, it was a great showing, I think, by the pass game. The running game, they did break one 51-yard run with Bo Jackson, but you take that one out of the equation, and they still averaged right around 2.9 or 3 yards per carry on the rest of the running game. So there's no consistency involved yet with the run game, and that's week 8. I mean, at some point, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it is a duck, and this run game looks like a duck right now. So a wounded, not very good duck. So if that's the one Achilles heel for this team, as long as they don't call an overabundance of running plays, nobody will get hurt. So there you go.
Well, and and it's the deep shots are good, but they're going to live and die on the 8-yard RPOs that are essentially the running game and converting those. I do wonder, and I hope to ask Ryan Day about this tonight, is that when you get to November and the weather begins to change, how much that impacts what you want to do and what you plan on doing. Because I think we all remember the Northwestern game a couple of years ago, or when rain gets involved, how does that impact the ability to execute the passing game, which I think that's always the concern. That's one of the reasons Gene Smith a couple of years ago suggested, hey, why not play the first round playoff game in Lucas Oil, because he's looking for the best conditions for the Ohio State offense at that time.
And I understand that philosophy and that approach. I also don't know that it should be verbalized to the masses.
That's funny.
I don't know if you guys came across this stat. Julian Sayin joins Geno Smith as the only quarterbacks in the last 50 years of college football to hit on 85%, 300 yards, at least 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions, 3 consecutive games.
Goodness gracious. I mean, what let me jot that down. What was it again? 85%.
85%, 300 yards through the air, at least 3 touchdowns, and no INTs for 3 consecutive games.
Good Lord. And the other guy was
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Who's still playing, right? Is he still hanging on? Yeah. Wherever he is.
That's pretty good stat.
Whoever the latest is.
I mean, people want to debate. I'm sure we'll get into the playoff rankings, but they talk about Ohio State. Well, they've got the best defense and they've got the best quarterback. He's got the highest completion percentage and the best efficiency rating. Now, people at Indiana will say, well, Mendoza is right there, and he's accounted for 29 touchdowns. Mendoza, he's been outstanding. So, it's not number one by a wide margin, but still, I believe those are some of the things that have put Ohio State on top of Indiana at this point.
What is interesting is some of the margins that Julian Sayin does have are pretty incredible. And I'm just trying to scroll through and find where I tweeted this out. But his completion percentage right now is, he's number 1. And I believe Fernando Mendoza is number 2. And the gap between 1 and 2 is the same as 2 and 45. To give you an idea of how far advanced Julian Sayin is compared to everybody else. And, you can go through his situational stats, and he's 19 of 20 on passes inside his own 20-yard line. And the one incompletion was against Texas to throw to Max Clare, where Max Clare wasn't looking and it looked like he was out there blocking, or else he'd be, 20 of 20 or whatever. And they're just things like that. You can just go up and down. Like in the third quarter this year, he's completing 86.7% of his passes. He's 52 of 60. You go through, he threw 3 incompletions against Penn State. 2 of those were throwaways, and 1 was perhaps a drop. Like, it's all insane stuff we've not seen before. Bill Rabinowitz asked Ryan Day about Tuesday, is Julian Sayin the most accurate quarterback? Like, what does he do that's better than any of your other quarterbacks? Like, is he more accurate than CJ Stroud? And Day's like, well, I'm not going to say that and get in trouble with CJ Stroud, so that's fine for you, but I can't do that. But like, we're just seeing stuff that's really, really impressive, and he he keeps raising his completion percentage each game. Like, that's eventually going to have to start going back a little bit, but he's going to finish with some of the best numbers we've ever seen in Ohio State in his first year as a starter.
My apology. We've got a family member dealing with some health issues, and so I had to jump off there real quick to apologize if the phone kept ringing, but I couldn't figure out how to mute the phone or mute the computer. So there you go.
No issues there. Ryan Dawes has a super chat for us that we will keep in our back pocket for the produce segment. Comments and questions are welcome, folks. So walk like a duck, quack like a dog, talk like a duck, everything else, whatever the lines are that Steve spit out better than I did. It still needs to be worked on. We still need to do something here to get a running game going that's reliable. I'll put it this way before you guys can go off on this one. Short yardage may be the most important. And then after that, the ability when it's in a playoff game, 31-27 with 4 minutes left in the game, to march it down the field, a la stopping Penn State at the goal line and then just keeping the football for the rest of the game, basically, against one of the best defenses in the country. Those type of situations, not necessarily that it has to be beautiful, 25 carries for 150 yards, 6 yards carry, because it's just, an unstoppable running attack from start to finish throughout the game. But key situations, short yardage, end of the game, ice the game.
Yep. That's what the name of the game is. And I think you've hit on it, that at this point, that's what we're coming down to, is they've got to be able to run the ball in those situations. And, they're close. They're not too far from where they need to be. It's just, it hasn't entirely clicked together just yet. And teams are defending them in a certain way, and they have to take what the defense gives them, which I think is the screen game to the running back, the drags to the tight end, the cross, the seam, whatever, to get the ball to the tight ends, because they're running free. And same with the running backs coming out of the backfield. So take what the defense gives you, and don't try to force the round peg into the square hole like they did last year against Michigan. If they can avoid that type of thinking, and just speaking in generalities, because these games are just, so intricate, chess match type games. I think one of the things that they threw in this past week was some late motioning and late shifting before the snap that really kind of puts the defense on its heels. Like, well, okay, this is what we thought we saw, so now we're getting this. How should we react? Type thing. And I think that is another way that they can take advantage of things, in addition to just drawing plays, in the grass like they did last week with that deep pass. They said they installed it at halftime and said, hey, be ready. We may call this. We didn't rep it all week, but it's there. And I think that's the one where Coach Day yelled, got him. You can hear it on the audio, right? As the receiver, gets behind the defense. So it's fun to watch when things are clicking like that.
And in terms of the stuff that we're seeing from the running game, you're seeing some of the loaded pistol stuff where you have two tight ends on either side of Julian Sayin as potential lead blockers for the running game. So I think that's helpful. I also think that the passing game is so crisp that it's just as effective as the running game. Like when they threw the diamond formation and had four guys off to the left, and they had Jeremiah Smith all by himself with one corner and then a safety higher over top. Are you more likely to pick up 4 yards running the ball at that point, or throwing it to Jeremiah Smith when a corner is 8 yards off of him and the safety is 15 yards away? Like that's easy money with the way this passing game is going. And 11 targets to Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate last week for 11 receptions for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. If the ball doesn't hit the ground, it's essentially a handoff. So just consider those two guys part of the running game as well.
Yeah, that pretty much works. If the ball doesn't hit the ground, it's pretty much a safe deal, just as much as a handoff.
I mean, it's the same, like,
for now.
Yeah, at least for now. But it's like the air raid thing. It's all of these short passes. Not many air raids have ever won a national championship. I don't know that any, but I will say Ohio State's right now 4.64 yards per carry. LSU won national championship in 2019 at 4.88 yards per carry. So like you can do this with a really, really effective passing game and a just good enough running game.
And Ohio State's defense is much better than LSU's of 2019.
Definitely.
And so I'm guessing that that's kind of the low bar there if you're pointing out LSU of 2019.
Well, and that was just one that was brought up recently in terms of, because the heavy passing. But, I mean, you can look at I'm going to assume most national champions are better than that. Like, if I go look at Alabama right now in 2020, they were 5, which not a lot better. Who won in 2021? Was that Georgia? So has Alabama won it since 2020?
No.
Okay, so must be why Nick Saban decided to retire. But like Georgia, Georgia was a passing game when Ohio State played them in 2022 in terms of like they were a lot of short passing and the running game was just okay. Now they were effective at it. But in 2022, Georgia rushing for 5.5. So that's a good number. But Ohio State has rushed for 5 or 6 yards a carry in years where they didn't get it done because the defense didn't get it done.